Alrighty. Hello, YouTube. I think I'll actually have time to shoot a video today instead of rushing before my wife comes out. The Escape's running good. Well, it's running good. It's not starting good. I've started using the block heater because it doesn't like starting when it's cold. This thing, impressively, has not been giving me any issues. It gave me a few issues when I first had it, which I think had more to do with the fact that it had probably been sitting for a while, the previous owners. I'm still, but it gave me a few issues. Hasn't since. Starts every time, even when it hits negative 20. I'm a little impressed that this guy's still here. Today I've got a touch up. I don't know if you can see it. That light bar down there. The one of the cords is dangling, so I gotta tie that up. This dent here, I don't know if that was there last time I talked about the car. I don't think it was. Some fucking lunatic. I was at I think it was driving through the Walmart parking lot, and there's some douchebag in a shitbox truck that had a light bar on it that was worth more than the truck. And here's the two vehicles I've got for sale. There's another vehicle that doesn't run. Yeah, the fleet's gotten bigger, but the number of them on the road is still the same. But yeah, so this guy in the shitbox truck was taking up like 5 spaces, and as I was driving by him, I was like, you park like an idiot, or you park like a fag. I don't know what I said. But I drove through the Walmart parking lot, and I drove into the Superstore, and I'm on my phone or something. Like I parked, I'm fiddling with my phone, and then the truck comes right next to me, and the guy jumps out, and before I can get my seatbelt off and open the door, he fucking comes running up and just bam the door. And here's where it gets fucking hilarious. He loses his balance, falls down, cracks his fucking head on the pavement, knocks himself out cold. And the police, and here's the thing about living in an urban area. And it is urban, but it's not like I live in Toronto. I live in a city large enough to have its own police department, but not large enough to have its own crime problem. I mean, it has a crime problem, but not comparable to Toronto. But either way, living in an urban center, I called the police, and they were there before Buddy woke up. But yeah. And I ended up not pressing charges or even demanding that the guy pay for the damage, because honestly, every time someone asks me about this dent, I just grin like a fucking idiot as I explained to him that the jackass that fucking did it knocked himself out. I didn't even have to whoop his ass. He whooped his own ass. But that Cartman doesn't seem to be faring as well as the Minion did. And funnily enough, so those of you that, I don't know if you would have seen it on YouTube, but if you followed me on Instagram, Cadillac Kid Productions, then you would have seen that before the Minion, there was actually a Homer Simpson. He did not last long. He tragically was killed in action. But when I put the Minion on, it was expected to be temporary, because the Minion specifically said, not an outside toy. So the intention was that the Minion would last a little bit, and then I'd put a Kenny doll on the car. But I ended up finding this Cartman doll, and the Minion lasted like 3.5 years and is still in perfect condition. But I discovered a Kenny doll. So assuming my next car is big enough to hold the doll, because the doll is huge. I think it's bigger than the Minion. So the next car has to be big enough to hold the Minion and shitty enough that I'm willing to put it on it. Like, I wouldn't put Kenny on the truck. And this is the wife's car, so I can't put it on there. And it's way too big to put on the Lincoln. So if I get like a big orange van, that guy's going on the front. But yeah, I am 100% loving the Lincoln. It's front wheel drive. and just the weight of it is difficult to lift off oversteer. I can, but it's not something casual. Like if you remember the supercharged Impala, you lifted your foot off the gas and that back end went flying. So it was a lot of fun. This thing is a lot harder to slide than that was. Requires a lot more willing to crash. Which is a shame, because when I bought this thing, it was intended to be the family car. Just an FYI, I'm having a daughter. And for anyone thinking like, ooh la la, I have a shotgun and I have shells with your name on them. But this was intended to be the family car because it's got a big back seat. Like the back seat in this thing is noticeably more comfortable than the back seat in that thing. And honestly, the trunk is probably the same size as the back compartment of that thing with the seats up. But yeah, it just unfortunately, it's in perfectly fine condition. It'll probably do me for a couple of years. And it probably, if I was taking like the appropriate care of it that I would of, like, say, my wife's car, it'd probably last 3 to 5 years. But we have a stupid government, and the stupid government doesn't want old cars on the road, so it's legal, don't get me wrong. It's insured, it's on the road, but probably won't be for very long with the way this province is run. But so it'll do me for a year, maybe 2, mostly as a winter beater. But one thing I've got to say, sunroofs are 100% the most unrated fucking option. Because you think about it, it's like, it shouldn't really matter. What difference does it make? I remember as a kid, like that was one of the things you looked for in a car. Aftermarket wheels, rear wheel drive, sunroof, not a 4-banger, unless you were one of those Honda queers. And, but yeah, no, I love the sunroof. If it's above -15, I'm probably using the sunroof. And it has gotten to the point where it is old. It's gotten to the point it will open fine, kind of slow, but it will open. But in order to close it, if you just close it on its own, it makes it to about here. So you have to close it to about here, and then you have to start pushing it while you hold the close button in order to get it to actually close. But yeah, now, I know I don't upload much anymore. I really struggle to actually find the drive to go out and drive. Mainly, like if I still had the truck, I'd be out doing videos. I know I wasn't really shooting many videos when I had the truck, mainly because my POV camera needs to be replaced. It's too old. But like I was out a lot, ripping this thing, doing burnouts, going through tires, doing tours, off-roading, driving. I was out a lot. I very rarely got around to posting videos about it because it's that fun to drive. It is as much a muscle car as it is a truck, and I 100% love it. But it has so many issues that with the warranty coming up, I'm not willing to take that risk. If it was paid off, I would keep it. If I won the lottery tomorrow and I won just enough money to pay it off, I would keep it. It'd be back on the road, and I'd be whooping the shit out of it. And when it broke, I'd fix it. But now that I owe money on it, I'm gonna sell it, pay off the loan. I'm not gonna wait till the warranty expires and the rear end blows up again, or the transmission dies again, or the 4x4 goes again. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Zach, you beat the piss out of it. Of course it's gonna break. Nuh-uh, fuck that. This thing is on its 3rd transmission, its 3rd 4x4, its 2nd rear end, its 2nd alternator. It's like fucking 12th touchscreen and GPS. It's brand new. That's not on me. That gold piece of shit truck I had 500,000 miles, was 20 years old, and I beat it 1,000,000 times harder than I beat this thing. Never gave me an issue. Rear end was solid, transmission was solid, and for those of you that know GMs, those transmissions were not exactly diamonds. So no, it is not on me that this thing is a piece of fucking dog turd. Ford sucks. It took 3 Fords for me to realize it, as I'm in another Lincoln. Or a Ford product. But yeah, like I do find it difficult to go. If this Lincoln was rear-wheel drive, being that it's winter and we're starting to get snow, I'd probably be out a fair amount. I doubt I'd be shooting videos, but I'd probably find it within myself to go out. Another thing is, now that I have a wife, my wife kind of wants to be with me, you know, and prior to being pregnant, we definitely went on drift tours before she was pregnant. Now that she's pregnant, I don't really want to risk, you know, hooking and rolling or something, and so I doubt we'd go out now. Like, it's just, I don't want to take my pregnant wife out to go do dumb shit, you know, and I don't want to leave my pregnant wife alone because she doesn't want to be left alone. But now that we have a safe, reliable car for the wife, you know, yeah. Oh, I learned my lesson. Fords are terrible. Safe, reliable Ford. Although my Escape, you saw me beat the shit out of it, and it never gave me an issue. So, but now that we have a safe, reliable car for the wife, I think once I sell the truck and the debt's all paid off, I think that when we go to replace this car to get me a car, I'm thinking Corvette. And I know a lot of you think, that's not very responsible, whatever the fuck I tell you my name is. I've probably said it before. Cadillac Kid. Yeah, it's not the most responsible, but I mean, that's the family vehicle. And until we have a third kid, we don't need a bigger vehicle. So I could sell, keep this thing as a winter beater probably, but get a Corvette. We have a second vehicle for me to go to and from work. We have a second kid. We don't need another vehicle. Third kid, even if that's 3 years from now, that's still 2 years of me fucking around, 2.5 years of me fucking around in a Corvette, which I can then trade in for a minivan. And I would hope in 2 or 3 years I'm in a position where I can afford a third vehicle. Because as far as I'm concerned, multiple vehicles, that's where life peaks. When I had two cars, like when I had the truck and the Crown Vic, when I had the Camaro and the Cadillac, being able to pick a vehicle. And I remember, even when I had the Camaro, you're thinking, obviously, you would take the Camaro wherever you go. Sometimes you'd be like, you know what? I feel like taking the Cadillac, The air conditioning actually works. It's faster. It's probably, I think they were actually surprisingly, the first year I had the Camaro and it was a little souped up, it was probably quicker than the Cadillac. Definitely wasn't faster, but it was probably quicker. The second year of the Camaro, when I kind of rebuilt it and tuned it and, started bragging about the 30 miles per gallon, it was probably on par in terms of acceleration with the Cadillac. But, I don't know, there's a little life update for you guys. I got to get back to work. This thing's been idling. It's definitely warmed up. But peace and love to all of you. What did I used to say? Godspeed? I used to go like, hello, YouTube. But I feel like I said something when I said goodbye. I don't know what that was, but peace.